Let's go to line number 1. Hello, Anne. You're on the air.
Hello, Patty. How are you?
Top shelf today. Thank you. How are you?
Well, I am kind of disappointed with both levels of government, actually.
How so?
How so? We're not. I'm Métis, okay?
All right.
And there are such people as Métis people in this province. I come from Aboriginal descent and European descent. Therefore, that makes me a Métis.
Right.
But we are not giving the recognition from both levels of government, federal or provincial.
What kind of recognition?
Well, I was listening to Jim there earlier, and he got arrested for fighting for what he felt was right, and I feel that he's in the right, and you figured that he was breaking the law.
No, I didn't figure he's breaking the law. The RCMP figured he was breaking the law.
Well, you know what? The RCMP and everybody, the whole society in general needs to be educated. There are such race as Métis people, and they have rights. And if the federal government and the provincial government is not going to give them the recognition, they are being biased, and they are bullying our people.
So there's
it's a form of bullying, Patty. They are bullying.
It's not a form of bullying. It's not. It didn't matter if it was a Métis or a white person walked down that road. They were getting arrested. It had absolutely no difference where they're from or what their background was.
You're missing what I'm saying. I'm saying is there is such people. There are such people as Métis people, and our federal and provincial government will not give us the recognition. That's the statement that I wanted to make. Therefore, they're biased and they are prejudiced and they are
what kind of recognition?
Bullying us.
Well, I don't think they are, but what kind of recognition does the Métis need that they're not getting or deserve that they're not getting?
We're not getting any recognition. We're not even considered people. Well, I mean, we don't exist according to our governments, both levels.
Because you don't have land claim settlements.
Because, well, first of all, not only the land claims, second, but first, they don't even recognize us. That's my beef. They don't recognize us. Therefore, they're biased and they're discriminating, and that's the statement I want to make. And I support my brothers and my sisters back in Labrador. Like I said to your producer there a few minutes ago, unfortunately, I live on the island part of the Newfoundland because it's too costly for me to go back and forth to Labrador because of health issues. If we had better health care system in Labrador, maybe I would not have to live on the island part of Newfoundland and Labrador.
What's wrong with living on the island?
I didn't say there was anything wrong with it. I'm saying, anybody would...
I kind of did, but whatever. I'm not going to split that here because that's a waste of time.
I like, I'm not saying I didn't like living here. I didn't say there was anything wrong with living here. I'm saying I'm living here because of health issues and because of the cost of coming back and forth to and from the island and the Labrador.
Well, I wish you nothing but the very best health-wise. Why would I? That's how I feel about everybody. And when it comes to discrimination of a certain group, is this simply about land claim? If you were recognized as a particular group inside First Nations and land claims were settled, all of a sudden you feel discrimination has gone away and it's all been settled by what? Money?
No, Patty. I always felt that the Métis people was not ever recognized and wasn't even considered in coming into the table along with the other Aboriginal people. Never.
Well, that's nothing. But that's my question.
According to our government, we're nobody. We don't exist. We're non-existent. But we are. We're here. We're in this province. We're all across Canada.
My question is, if the government said we now recognize the Métis, and the land claim procedure went on and there was a settlement of a land claims agreement, all of a sudden that means, based on a piece of paper and someone standing on a podium saying that we acknowledge the Métis, that means it's all gone away? Everything's better all of a sudden?
No,
Well, then what is it then? What does it take to remove this discrimination then? I think that's my bold question, because I've said I've been condemned for it, and I don't care. Some of the land claims issues that are made a big deal of by some in the First Nations can be settled with money. That really does take away from some of the plea that people make based on their Aboriginal status. So that's a real important question you and I are discussing here. If it's not money and land claims agreements, what does remove the discrimination and makes you feel better about your lot in life as a Métis Canadian?
I don't think it's the money that I would be what I would be after. I would be after the environment and caring for the environment, Patty, and to care for the environment. I mean, God, a few years time, somebody's going to pay deeply for the destruction of the land.
And you know what's going to happen then? And you know who's going to suffer? Every single one of us. Not just the Métis, not just Aboriginals. Every single person that is exposed to the contamination of any land is suffering if and when that happens. That's why I always say this is not an Aboriginal issue. If there's a white person living close to Lake Melville, they suffer just as much as an Aboriginal. But when we talk about it as strictly an Aboriginal issue, I find that disingenuous. I really do.
Okay, you're right. It's everybody's.
Absolutely right.
Everybody's going to be affected. Yes, Patty, I understand that. But my statement, what I wanted to make today was, I want, whether I, get involved in the land claims or not with the federal or the provincial government, I want to be recognized for who I am, and I am Métis. That's my statement. And
there's nothing wrong with any of that. Now, whether or not we have conversations like we did on this program and others about the Halapu and what was a legitimate benchmark to achieve status, I think they're fundamental, real conversations we need to have. But so far as your want to be recognized as a Métis and to be proud of it, nobody in their right mind can condemn you for it. Why would they?
But they are.
You have a unique case that is yet to be settled in a court. That's an unfortunate part of how we are going to get to whether or not someone is a Métis that should be acknowledged as such. How the land claim gets settled on the heels of this acknowledgement. That's court of law stuff. It has nothing to do with discrimination in my mind. As a non-member of the court, normal white kid down here in the East End of St. John's, those court issues shouldn't have any bearing on whether or not I acknowledge you as a Métis. You told me you were. You say you practice it. You're represented by a leader that tries to represent your views. That's good enough for me. I got no reason to discriminate against you.
Oh, I just hope, Patty, that you can get our government to see the way things that you see them.
And I wish you all the very best for the holidays, and certainly, most importantly, I wish you the very best with your health.
Thank you.
All the best. You take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yes, well, that's tough, boy. They're tricky conversations.